Portugal, a land of wild valleys, is now home to more than 300,000 wild boars, a population that has tripled in just 2 decades. Every year, these animals devastate vineyards, destroy olive groves, and cause thousands of traffic collisions, making them one of the biggest threats to agriculture and public safety. Wild boars are not just a native species anymore. They have become the leading source of conflict between humans and nature in Portugal. So what has caused their numbers to explode beyond control? And can humans restore balance before everything slips out of hand? You're watching Fargo Farm, where we explore the most intense confrontations between humans and the wild. The threat posed by wild boars in Portugal is far from an exaggerated story. With a population of over 277,000 animals and estimates reaching nearly 300,000, they are growing at an unsustainable density, posing a serious danger to agriculture, forests, and the environment. In 2023 alone, cornfields suffered severe destruction, causing farmers to lose around €8 million. With more than 110,000 hectares of corn farmland and an average annual yield of about 700,000 tons, these losses directly affect the nation's food supply, the livelihoods of farmers, and add significant economic pressure across the entire country. The impact of wild boars extends far beyond damaged crops. They tear up regenerating forests, destroy fruit orchards, agroforestry areas, and newly restored woodlands, throwing ecosystems off balance, reducing biodiversity, and weakening forest environments that are already fragile. Even more dangerous, wild boars are carriers of serious diseases such as African swine fever, ASF, which can spread to domestic pig farms and multiply economic losses many times over if an outbreak occurs. Without effective population control, their continued growth will push Portugal's agriculture, environment, and community safety into a severe crisis. To cope with this population explosion, farmers have been forced to defend their land with basic measures. Costly, but almost unavoidable. They build reinforced steel fences around vineyards and olive groves, yet after only a few nights, many sections are smashed down as if they were paper. Some farmers try motion sensor lights, sound-emitting devices, or strong repellent scents. But wild boars quickly adapt and return even bolder than before. In many areas, residents take turns guarding their farms at night, lighting fires, or letting dogs patrol the perimeter. Corn growers even dig trenches along the edges of their fields, but heavy rain fills them up, and the boars cross with ease. All of these temporary measures provide some short-term relief, but they are nowhere near enough to hold back a species that is intelligent, aggressive, and reproduces at an astonishing rate. Wild boars aren't just numerous. They also possess traits that make them a true nightmare for agriculture. Their sense of smell is incredibly sharp, able to detect food from hundreds of meters away. Their memory is excellent, allowing them to find their way back to rich vineyards and cornfields. Their strength is astonishing, powerful enough to break steel fences and tear up hardened soil in just minutes. And with a high reproductive rate, producing 4 to 10 piglets per litter, their population grows far beyond human control. Fences, motion sensor lights, sound devices, and scent repellents are all methods farmers have tried, but wild boars overcome them with ease. In many areas, farmers must stand guard at night, let dogs patrol the fields, or even dig trenches as barriers. Yet just a few heavy rains, or a few nights of boars moving in large groups, erase all that effort instantly. Against a species so intelligent, aggressive, and quick to adapt, these temporary defenses are nothing more than fragile lines of resistance facing an invader that grows stronger by the day. Faced with growing destruction, farmers in Portugal are no longer fighting alone. They've begun working closely with professional hunters, turning wild boar control from scattered individual efforts into coordinated strategic operations. Plans are drawn up in detail, dividing hunting zones, tracking herds for days, setting up patrol formations, and identifying priority areas that must be contained. Every member knows their role, from guarding farms and issuing danger alerts to supporting each other as boar herds move through dense forests or open fields. These operations aren't just about protecting crops. They're also about safeguarding communities, preventing accidents, and the growing risks posed by wild boars. When farmers, hunters, and support teams move in sync, their actions become unified and drastically more effective. The confrontation with wild boars is no longer a collection of isolated attempts. It has become an organized, disciplined, and highly tactical campaign, where every decision and every movement adds to the collective strength needed to confront an invader that is both aggressive and intelligent. The plan doesn't stop at patrols or fence lines. It also extends to elevated positions for hunters. Ambush hunting is one of the oldest and most effective methods, especially in dense forests or rugged hills like those in Portugal. Hunters often suspend a hammock between two sturdy trees, creating a high vantage point that is discreet, secure, and safe. From this position, they can sit perfectly still, well camouflaged, observing their prey without being detected, minimizing noise and human scent, two factors that would immediately alert wildlife. Ideal ambush sites include animal trails, feeding areas, grassy clearings, or water sources, places frequently visited by wild boars, deer, and red foxes. Waiting in the right spot increases the chance of a successful shot, reduces risk to the hunter, and minimizes impact on the surrounding environment. First, it allows hunters to stay concealed far more effectively, making it difficult for animals to detect them, even at close range, and greatly increasing the chances of success when the prey steps into the ambush zone. The elevated position also provides greater safety, keeping hunters out of reach of direct attacks, while conserving energy since they don't have to move constantly through dense forest terrain. It also reduces noise and minimizes human scent, a critical factor during night hunts or in harsh weather conditions. Beyond that, this method gives hunters a wide, unobstructed field of view, allowing them to monitor the movement of multiple animals at the same time. However, the drawbacks of ambush hunting are just as clear. Its effectiveness depends heavily on choosing the exact right spot. Pick the wrong location, and a hunter can wait for hours without seeing a single animal. This method is time-consuming and requires a high level of patience while also limiting mobility and making it difficult to adjust quickly to changes in the animal's movement. On top of that, wind, rain, or other harsh weather conditions can make wildlife more alert, reduce visibility, and put the hunter at a disadvantage. The elevated vantage point also has limits when the forest canopy is too dense, and this technique isn't suitable for species that move unpredictably and don't follow fixed trails, such as hares or lynx. For these reasons, ambush hunting demands sharp observation skills, patience, and strategic positioning, combined with an understanding of the prey's habits to achieve the best results. In legal hunting activities across many European countries, including Portugal, firearms are an essential tool that allow hunters to maintain both accuracy and safety when dealing with wildlife such as wild boars. The most commonly used firearms are hunting rifles, calibers like .308, .30-06, or 7.64, with an effective range of 150-300 meters, well-suited for hilly and densely wooded terrain. Some hunters also use 12-gauge shotguns for close-range encounters, where targets are only 20 to 40 meters away. All firearms must be properly registered, regularly inspected, and used strictly according to wildlife regulations. In addition, hunters often equip themselves with optical scopes with 3 to 9x magnification, tactical flashlights, or rifle rests to ensure precise shots, minimize risks, and avoid unnecessary harm to animals. Using firearms always comes with high responsibility, requiring compliance with safety rules, authorized hunting zones, and seasonal hunting schedules, all aimed at maintaining ecological balance and preventing safety hazards for surrounding communities. The hunting season is not determined solely by legal schedules. It is closely tied to the daily habits of wild boars. Hunters and farmers must carefully calculate ambush positions, deploy patrol teams, and maintain night watches, while coordinating with professional hunters to minimize crop damage. During this season, wild boars usually move in herds, and each herd can number dozens of animals, making population control far more challenging and requiring well-planned hunting strategies. Moreover, the hunting season also brings tension and bustling activity on the farms. Farmers remain constantly vigilant, erecting temporary fences, releasing patrol dogs, and preparing various deterrent measures. Hunters focus on tracking the herds, recording signs, trails, feeding areas, and water sources, and choosing the optimal moments to set up an ambush, all while strictly following legal regulations. This coordinated effort strikes a balance between protecting crops, ensuring community safety, and managing the ecosystem responsibly. Therefore, the hunting season in Portugal is not just a period for shooting. It is a campaign of collaboration between humans and nature, where skill, patience, and strategy determine the effectiveness of protecting both the environment and agriculture. The battle against wild boars in Portugal stands as a testament that humans do not merely conquer nature. We must also learn to adapt and work with it. The efforts of farmers, hunters, and supporting forces show that wildlife management is not just an economic issue, but also an ecological and community responsibility. When humans coordinate seamlessly with scientific strategies and a deep understanding of animal behavior, wild boar populations can be controlled, crops can be protected, and regenerating forests along with biodiversity can be preserved. This is a vivid lesson in balancing nature conservation with human development, where every decision contributes to shaping a more sustainable future.